In this video, we're going to find the exact value of cosine 855 degrees and tangent negative pi over 6 radians, or we're going to state that either one or both of them is undefined. Now, just so you know, if we're going to have an undefined value using our unit circle, that's just going to be where we have one of the trig functions that's going to involve a fraction where we have a 0 in the denominator. So that's the only thing you have to look for there. Any other case, we're going to have an answer. So let's go ahead and try to relate 855 degrees and negative pi over 6 to our unit circle, because anytime you can use the unit circle in this class, you want to, because it's really nice. For cosine, for instance, we could just pick off the x value. For tangent, we could pick off the y value divided by the x value and get our answer. And it needs to be the exact answer, so we can't just throw this into the calculator. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the concept of coterminal angles to figure out what the cosine of 855 degrees is equal to. Because if you notice, we don't have 855 degrees on this unit circle. We have 0 going up through 30, and it goes all the way around to 330, and then 30 more gives us 360. So that's what we have to work with in terms of degrees. And so that's why previously when we do coterminal problems, we typically wanted to find a coterminal angle between 0 and 360 degrees. Same thing with the radians. Negative pi over 6 radians is not on here. We have 0 going up through positive numbers all the way around to 2 pi radians. So we want to find something there, a coterminal angle, to negative pi over 6 that's between 0 and 2 pi. So let's break down the first problem, cosine 855. And let's just look at the angle for now. So 855, of course, is larger than 360. And so if we want to find something coterminal to that, we're going to subtract 360 until we land in between 0 and 360. And that's just one whole revolution around the circle. So 855 minus 360 degrees is going to leave us with 495 degrees. And so we want to look at this and we want to say, is that between 0 and 360? Of course, the answer is no. So we want to subtract 360 again. So 495 minus 360 degrees is going to leave us with 135 degrees. So then we say, is that between 0 and 360? And the answer is yes. And then we say, can we find that on the unit circle? And again, the answer is yes. It's right here, 135 degrees. Kind of covered it up there. Let me erase that. 135 degrees. And so we have an x value and a y value, of course, as with any point on the unit circle, and we want to know the cosine of 855. Well, the cosine of 855 is going to be the same thing, or the exact same value, as the cosine of 135, because they end in the exact same spot, so they're represented by the same point on the unit circle. And so cosine, if it's on the unit circle, cosine of some angle, if it's on the unit circle, is just going to be the x value associated with that point. Well, again, we have an x and a y value. The x value is negative square root of 2 over 2. And so our answer to the first one is negative square root of 2 over 2. And that's going to be the answer to cosine 855 degrees. So now let's do a similar thing, just with radians, for our second problem. We have the tangent of negative pi over 6. Again, we need to find something that is coterminal to negative pi over 6 that is between 0 and 2 pi radians. And so in this case, we have a negative. And so what we need to do is we need to have a positive number, because it'll be positive, 0 between 0 and 2 pi is going to be positive. We're going to add 2 pi, or one whole revolution, to this angle to get something hopefully between 0 and 2 pi. Now you have a problem here because we have a fraction and we're adding 2 pi to it. And so what we need to do is, if you're ever adding fractions, you need to have a common denominator, which we do not at this point. 2 pi is really the same thing as 2 pi over 1. And so we need to change the 2 pi over 1 to where it has a common denominator, and that denominator being 6. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 6. And so this problem then is going to reduce to negative pi over 6 plus 2 pi times 6 is going to give us 12 pi. And 1 times 6 is going to give us 6. So negative 1 plus 12 is going to give us 11 pi over 6. And so that's the angle that we're interested in now. That is something that's between 0 and 2 pi, and we can see it on the unit circle right here, 11 pi over 6. Again, we can go ahead and pick out our x value and our y value. So let's go ahead and just rewrite this. So the tangent of negative pi over 6 is going to be the same value as tangent of 11 pi over 6. And the tangent at any value here is going to be the y value divided by the x value. So the y value is negative 1/2. I kind of covered it up there. divided by our x value of square root of 3 over 2. So again, I'm just taking this x value and y value here. And now we can simplify this. So we have division of fractions, so we need to multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator. So negative 1 over 2 multiplied by 2 over the square root of 3. The 2's are going to cancel on top and bottom, leaving us with negative 1 over the square root of 3. Now, while this is technically the answer, anytime you end up with a radical in the denominator, you want to rationalize your denominator so that your answer matches. It's just kind of a standard or a custom when you're working on problems in math. So to rationalize the denominator, we want to get rid of that radical down there. So we're going to multiply this fraction by the square root of 3 on top and bottom, because of course a fraction remains the same if you multiply by the same thing on top and bottom. So negative 1 times the square root of 3 is just going to be negative square root of 3. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is just going to be 3. And so our answer for the tangent of negative pi over 6 is going to be negative square root of 3 over 3. So again, if you have an angle that's outside of the range of the unit circle, just try to find a coterminal angle by subtracting or adding 360, subtracting or adding 2 pi to it until you get something that's between 0 and 360 or 0 and 2 pi. And then you can just pick off your x and y values and answer accordingly to whatever trig function you're interested in.